All right, so hi everybody. My name is Craig Clove. I am an alcoholic, and I'm glad to be here tonight. Thank you guys for the invite. This is a real nice thing. I'm excited about this meeting. When y'all were telling me about it a little bit and, you know, who's going on, not because I'm speaking, but, you know, this is the kind of stuff how AA, I know it, everybody that's always speaking says they're not doing it because they're speaking. They're full of beans. But the deal is people were being mindful about, you know, there's really nothing up on this side of town. Now, our little Kristen is just an absolute treasure. I've watched this the whole time. And I know her sponsor very well, and her sponsor's a good girl. And I've watched her many times hang on the phone with some of the girls she works with to get them to walk them through that panic. And that is, not everybody will do that. Don't call me. You know, I just, to walk them through that panic. And that's the magic of AA. That's what those guys did for me at Samaritan House. They walked me through man, I am in panic about what in the heck is going on. I don't know nothing about alcoholism or anything else. So, you know, this meeting starts, and I want to support this meeting because I believe in this. And I got some friends way up on the other side of town. There's another nice Monday night speaker meeting, a real nice group, and I've been involved with them a lot over the years. And but that's the only thing, you know, I mean, there's other speaker meetings, but you know what I mean? Like, kind of like what you guys are trying to do. And my buddies up at the, I don't even know what the name, up there on Rainbow and Patrick or something, they were talking about starting one on Wednesday night. I didn't even get mad. I didn't even get mad and say, you know, damn it, there's another one on Wednesday. We're not going to come to that one 30 miles away on Wednesday night. We're going to go to the one 2 miles from our house. And I really appreciate the effort that some of you put in. I know Kristen and Tommy came from a long ways away to get here. I know that. And AA is a little bit inconvenient sometimes. And I've always been told if you're not inconvenienced, you ain't doing it. I've known Mark and Erica for, I mean, Mark and I, well, he was a few years sober when he got to town, but I've known him ever since he was a new guy in town. You know, and it's been 37 years, pretty much, since he came and had these relationships. And I hope that makes up for some about what I'm going to say. I've known Keith Thomas since I was a newcomer. And we've done a lot of things together. We've served on committees together. We've been on the boards together. We've done a lot of things. We lived together for a while. And he has been a mentor to me, a big brother to me. Never officially a sponsor, but I took a lot of direction from him. And he literally came to my door one day in a bad moment and saved my life. Saved my life. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit later. But I want to welcome anybody here that's early or new in sobriety. I'm really glad you're here. And I'm not just saying that. I really am glad you're here. This is where things can happen that are beyond anything that you can imagine. And I know you're like me, man. Oh, man, I got a great imagination. But it was never what I have now that I value so much. I never imagined this kind of a thing. I never imagined coming here and help support getting something off the ground. I never imagined having peace in my life. Happiness, yeah, but it was always involved with a whole lot of stuff going on. It's just a nice little quiet, peaceful life. Some might say boring. It may be to you, but it isn't to me. I don't have all I want, but I want all I got. And that's a hell of a deal, wanting what you got. You know, when she was talking about pulling up to that gas station during COVID and they don't have vodka in there, that's enough to chap you a little bit. Why not? That's an essential service to the community. That should be open, and the damn dispensaries are open. Why isn't the liquor store? And, I get it. I get it. I'm that kind of a guy too. I didn't know what alcoholism was. Therefore, I don't have it. I remember somebody reading the 7 deadly sins one day, and they go down that list. I don't even know what they are: pride, greed, lust, envy. The last one, they get to sloth, and I'm like, good God, there's one I don't have. That's perfect. I don't have sloth. Then I found out what it meant. I'm like, well, my hell, no wonder it's last. It's lazy, and that's my worst thing. I don't want to do anything. I just want to have stuff. You know what? If this is that great of a job, why don't you pay me for a little while, and I'll see about coming to work one day. And it doesn't work like that. And people in AA, I don't live in reality is not my long game. I don't think I like that reality business that much. There's too much pressure. People want you to certainly act different than I was. I don't know, there's some things that Kristen got talking about that made me think of things. I think about the first time I was online on a meeting this afternoon, a history meeting I'm on every Wednesday, and a PowerPoint thing, and oh my God, we're going through Pass It On. And I'm getting to know Bill Wilson and Lois in a way I didn't know. Bill, I felt that they was reading some of her letters that she wrote, and the heartbreak she was expressing, and the disappointment in Bill, and the frustration, and the not knowing what to do. And I got thinking, geez, man, I did that to my family. No wonder they had an attitude. And the first time I remember it was at the Stairway Club, not very long ago. In the last couple of years, and Steve and I were going through that little thing we do on Friday night, and they wanted to read to the wives and the family afterward. And as we're going through it, I'm not reading like I read when I'm alone, because I read when I'm alone, I just kind of brush over stuff. That's the way I read directions too, to put stuff together. I just kind of look at all the parts, and then I look at the direction and think, to hell with it, the parts are easier to put. The direction, I can't follow. I don't need them. And, putting a bike together or something for one of the kids for Christmas. And, Daddy, I wanted a bike for Christmas. You got a unicycle. Don't worry about it. We got extra parts. Don't worry. It's going to last forever. And, because it just doesn't really work out if I don't follow the directions. And I'm not long on directions around here. I am way resistant. You guys want to start talking about, Kristen was talking about God. Oh, my God, I don't want to talk about God. You know what? They're ruining AA with this God business. And I'll tell you where it's centered. Now, back then, it's centered at that damn 11 a.m. meeting down at the Thai Club. And that was an infestation of those religious nuts. And they're trying to ruin AA. That's what I thought. And I thought to myself, you know what? One of these days, I'm going to have to burn this place down. And I hope they're all in it. Now, I'm going to lose some good friends, but that's the price. You shouldn't go to that damn meeting. And, it was a few years later, it did burn down, but I had an alibi. They didn't look at me. Well, they did. I remember that morning. We were all over there at we were the No Rules group, all part of that. And I remember standing in that parking lot behind those fire trucks with the water and the ashes, and it was cold. And we stood there and we had our meeting. And we've never missed. And that was a long time ago. A long time ago, we never missed. That Kristen was talking about how COVID came, and it scared the snot out of people. And we were very lucky. We were very lucky. I was doing some stuff around that building, and I so anyway, we got to keep our meetings. We always had meetings. In fact, back at the time, me and my girlfriend and another guy, so we were doing 17 live meetings a week during COVID. We had to answer to OSHA because somebody was always calling OSHA. And there's, 90 cars in the parking lot, and there's 100 people sitting on each other's lap tonguing each other too, and I'm not doing nothing about it. And OSHA told me I didn't have to because we're an essential, and besides, it falls under the ADA. We're a closed meeting. We are not public. Now, an open meeting is, but in closed meetings, and there's people complaining about it now, wanting it, because they all want to bring their dogs and everything to the meetings. No. Oh, this is a registered, I don't care if it's registered or not. That is not it. It's the group conscience, man. This is like my house. Don't bring your damn dog to my house. You know what else? Don't bring your gun to my house or I'll shoot you with it. So just don't. Do you want to carry a concealed weapon to an AA meeting? Yeah, man. Those people are going to get it. You know what they're going to do? They're going to probably want me to do something that they're going to make. You know what? You're going to do something to me I won't like. And I told that to a guy years ago. I said, well, he said, what is your big resistance? And I said, well, I'm afraid that you guys in AA are going to do something to me I won't like. And he backed up and he started laughing and he said, I won't use the language, but you have got to be kidding me. Look at you. Look at you. What could we possibly do that's worse than what you've done? Do you know where you're at? You are homeless. Either a bird nest or you got sticks in your hair, in your afro. I had a, thing then, back then. I had, one of them Bob Ross deals. And, oh my God, this guy is he's mocking me is what he's doing. I'm getting a little PO'd. And I'm like, and he said, you're a train wreck, dude. If we tried to do something to you that you wouldn't like, it'd be better than what you've done to you. What have you got to lose? And I thought, I hope you die. I didn't say that to him because I'm looking for $20 and a ride home. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking, oh man, I hate these people in AA. I feel that. And they're all happy. You know how it is. You go into your early AA meetings and everybody's glad to be there. Look for the similarities, Craig. Well, there ain't any yet. I'm not glad to be here. I'm glad I know I'm alcoholic. I think to myself, I wish you knew you were stupid. Maybe you'd shut up. But you can't say that kind of stuff because people get mad and won't let you have any coffee or donuts or any, and we got coffee and donuts in that other room, I know. And I don't even want any, but I can't help but walk in there and gaze over it a few times. I know what's in there, and I've been in there 8 times looking at it. Oh my God, I might have to have one of these. And just some of that stuff just don't go away. Anyway, so again, my name is Craig Clove. I am an alcoholic. My home group is the One Rule group. Our one rule is we don't smoke in the meeting. We spun off of the No Rules group in August of 98. We had our business meeting and we split off because there was and I smoked at the time, but we didn't want to smoke in the meeting anymore. People having health problems and stuff. And one of them was the other night, Deborah, when she was here, she was one of them there. Keith was there. I think there's 7 of us that started that are still alive. I don't know how Phil's doing, but he's the question. But I know Rob and Dave and you and me and Connie and Deborah. And then I think Phil is still kicking. Anyway, but he lives way up on the other side of town and goes out to the KCB. Anyway, we started that meeting, and I remember that fear of, oh my God, because it was that Thai Club morning meeting was, and the One Rule group is still rocking down there at the Thai Club, so not to worry. And, we had to move a couple of times, and we've just moved again. We moved from the 6th in St. Louis. We were there 22 years, I think, maybe almost 23. And a lot of these young people got sober during COVID in that room, and it's very special. And we had just, some of us had put a lot of effort into remodeling and make it really nice. It's why that church sold, actually. But what we did, and it didn't cost the church anything, and nobody got paid, and that was what OSHA was calling and complaining about. Well, there's people down there working. No, I'm the guy down here working, but I'm not getting paid. It's actually costing me a fortune to be here because it's, you know, I keep spending money on things. I say, oh, well, we need this, and you know, and it just. But we ended up in a position where we were always able to have our meetings. And then when they sold, we moved down to this new place, and I knew it was going to suck. And it's just been wonderful. We went down there and went to work and helped out where we could. We're not affiliated with that church or any of the Episcopal, none of that. But what I did do is we did fix a bunch of the plumbing and electrical and ice machine and things like that. And why'd you do it? Because we can. And I also know something. It can be awful hard for you to kick somebody like us out of here. We're doing a lot for you. So sometimes selfishness works, you know, for the good too. It isn't just all bad. Anyway, so I end up in this, September 28th, 1985, sponsors Brian Lockwald. He's in Florida right now. I'll be glad when he gets back home. A lot of you guys know him. Anyway, and he's a good man. And he's not sober as long as me, and he's not as old as I am. And I've always said, I got to have somebody older than me and sober longer than me because I won't listen, but sponsorship has to do maybe not so much sometimes with the sponsor as it does, are you willing to be sponsored, Craig? Are you willing to be sponsored? What does that look like? It doesn't mean I don't, it's not like an argument. It's like a different point of view, but I'll do exactly what he says for me to do. And boy, has that paid off good in my life, because for a long time around here, my sponsor gets mad at me when I say this, but I just floundered around. I don't want to do your God thing. I don't need that. I can figure it out. Besides, God don't like me. God is the enemy. God is my opponent, my nemesis. Where God is, I ain't. That's why I thought AA was a safe place. And that's why I wanted to burn the Thai Club down, because they were ruining it, trying to don't invite him in here. Damn it, because he comes. He's like an invasive species. Good Lord, he's everywhere. You know, you let him in one place, and the next thing you know, it's infested. And you got to cut that out. And boy, have I been wrong about that. I will tell you, my daughter said something the other day that she said, you know, you're just so different, Dad. Why? She said, nothing bothers you. You're just, and if I'm upset about something, just relax. Everything's fine. There's nothing wrong. No need to be pissed off the rest of the day. And I said, well, there's a couple of things that go into that, Tosh. One, my mom and dad raised my kids, so I don't have to tell her about it, but because she was there. I was down here working when I got the call that my dad had had a heart attack. He just cooked breakfast for my brother and his two boys, went downstairs, told Mom, hey, I'm gonna lay down for a minute. She said, are you okay? He said, yeah, I'm good. That was it. The end. 9 days before he turned 67. I turned 67 in August. I don't want to spend what time I got left upset about something. I don't want to squander that. Maybe I could come to a new meeting and see some old friends like Mark and Erica and Keith and some of these people I've known, and Paul and Nancy are here, and people I've known for years. Both Brian's, but Brian Dietrich has certainly been a mainstay in my life. But my little buddy Brian sitting right here behind me has made some transformation here. And that's really cool to get to see that. That's really cool to get to see that, to watch somebody kind of, you know what I mean, Mike, to kind of come up in AA and just like, wow, man, you're different. And it's awesome. It's awesome. Now, we see people all the time that we know, and then they don't hang around here, and then they come back and like, my God, you look different. What's that, buddy? You got $5? What's your name? I'm Jim. I used to sponsor you. Don't you remember me? No, man, I don't know. It's been a bad summer. Yeah, I get that. I know how that is, man. This doesn't, when you really need AA to look good and make sense, it doesn't. When you're brand new and you're looking in here and, I'm used to having medicine. Seagram's and 7-Up was my medicine. If I had Seagram's and 7-Up, everything is good. And not so much with me in those last, better part of a year. Not so good. The magic was gone. I mean, when I say alcohol quit working for me, I still got drunk. I ended up with, as it turns out, I didn't know I had this, but the phenomenon of craving, and I get rummy and but it never lit me up like it used to light me up. And I knew it was about to. Sometimes I'd have those periods that she talked about of that, and I'm gonna go snatch the kids back. I'm good now. How long? What do you mean? I've been sober 3 days, damn it. Leave me alone. I got it. And, I think 3 days is beyond any lengths. And next thing you know, I'm back at it. And I don't know. I was listening to, Bill Wilson's story today about, he goes into this bar. Now, he's sworn off 900 times. We all know about what an idiot he was. And he's sworn off, and he goes into this bar. And he orders 4 whiskeys and a water back. Just one water. Don't know if he ever drank that, but he hit the 4 whiskeys, and then he's pounding on the bar, and these are his own words. How in the hell did I get started again? Well, you ordered 4 shots is how you got started again. I can never see that. I'm not ordering 4 shots so I can get drunk and stupid and rummy and embarrass you and make my brothers ashamed and disappoint my dad and crush my mother. I didn't do it for that. I just need a little relief. Because what happens to me when I'm not drinking apparently doesn't happen to my brothers. They have a different reaction to alcohol than I do. When I have a couple of drinks and start feeling that little buzz coming on, I start feeling like I'm getting control. You know what happens to them? They get that little buzz and start feeling like they're losing control. I don't understand that reaction. On the natch, those guys feel like their life is pretty good and, they have some problems like everybody else, but, whatever, it just is what it is and it's not a big deal. That's not what I'm like sober. The book talks about being irritable, restless, and discontented. It talks about my alcoholic life seems the only normal one. They're describing delusion. He doesn't know the true from the false. More description of delusion. Fancied or real, Craig, these resentments, fancied or real. More delusion. He's an extreme example, you are, Craig, of self-will run riot, though you never think so. More delusion. And you want me to tell the truth. I would. But I don't really think I know the truth. I really don't. Mom would say, why do you drink? I wish I could have answered her, because I was never in a position to give her a good answer, because it's always, I've done something. I'm in one of those situations where you sort of can't explain things, Why in the hell did you do that? Oh, you're going to hang your head and that pathetic, because I'm stupid and I suck and I'm a loser. And you could have anything you want, Craig. No, I can't, because I've been trying to get it and it never works out. What do you mean I can have anything I want? I just want this beating to stop. And right now, I would have loved to have known about those bedevilments. When Mom said, what the hell's the matter with you? Well, Mom, I'm having trouble with personal relationships. And right now, that means me and you, because I do not like this conversation. I'm full of fear. I can't seem to, I can make money, man, but I can't seem to eke out a living. It just runs through my fingers like water. I don't understand. My brothers do it. I make more than them and they're doing better than me. How is that possible? I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what alcoholism is, but I know I don't have it. It would be impossible for me to have it. And people would say things like, people in AA would say, well, why do you think it's impossible for you to have alcoholism? Because what? Because, that's it. I don't. I said I don't. That's the end. And that's how I came in here. Now wasn't mean and feisty. Inside there was a rage going on. But boy, I was whipped pretty bad. Not worse than any one of you. Because you're all here. You had your best butt kicking and got sober. It was enough to get you to surrender. Because as long as I got away, I'm going that way. And anyway. Yeah, but my brothers just do dumb things. They feel pretty good, and when they start drinking and they start I don't feel that way. I feel kind of weird and awkward and stupid and out of place and blah, blah, blah. And when I start drinking, I start feeling like I'm getting some control. And they just don't have that reaction. And I don't understand them, and they don't understand me. And that's why non-alcoholics try with the best of intentions. They're good people. But they try to help us, and they can't. Because they just can't understand that somebody would do. Look at what we've done to ourselves. People don't understand how you can do that. You must hate yourself. No, I don't, damn it. I'm all I think of. What do you mean, hate myself? I'm just trying to get a leg up. You know, I could never see that stuff. But when I have a little Seagram's and 7-Up, man, it just, you walk into the party, maybe late. You look around and you think, oh man, this is going to suck. Right? You walk in the bar. I remember the pit up there in St. George. I'd go down to the pit and look, you can smell it, and just, from outside and down those stairs, and it's all smoky and country music playing, it's just not my kind of place. And, a few pitchers of beer into the evening, and bro, I love you, man. What's going on? You tell me alcohol ain't magic? It's magic. Well, that stopped. I got drunk, I got stupid, but I never got that anymore. It stopped doing that to me when it made it the party, the good thing. All I would do is get rummy and stupid. And so then I'd get sober, and I'd be sober a while, and I'd start thinking, I'm never going to drink again. I'm never going to drink again. Never. At least until Wednesday. And, but I'm never going to drink again. Swear to God, Tina, never. I'm done. I'm through. I hate that stuff. I don't want any more. I wouldn't have any if you gave it to me. And, that kind of thing. And what's that? And I just, oh, God. But the problem is what happens to me that doesn't happen to my brothers when I stop drinking. That's when I really start to suffer from the illness called alcoholism. It doesn't have so much to do with drinking at that stage. It's that spiritual, they call it, and I hate people with spiritual maladies, but they talked about a spiritual malady, a spiritual illness. I don't think I have that either. There must be something else. And you know what I thought when I got into AA, and you're sitting in here, and it's just terrible. I think, you know what? Maybe Grandma was right. Maybe Mormons that drink and smoke end up in hell, and if this isn't hell, it must be the waiting room. That's what it seemed like to me. Because it was just, but what the magic, because I had a lot of people trying to help me. I always thought if I could go to one of those real expensive treatment centers or something, I'd get better, but I never seemed to. I never had the money to go, so I just kind of got stuck in these little Skid Row detox places. And I remember once I got out of rehab, and I didn't last long. I mean, I was in rehab 8 days. Good Lord, how much recovery can you stand in your lifetime? You know what I mean? 8 days? Good grief. I've over-recovered is what I've done. And so I'm celebrating my graduation. And people start asking me, what in the hell is wrong with you? Well, again, right now, this conversation, but I mean, what do you mean what's wrong? Nothing's wrong with you. What's wrong? You just got a rehab, dude, and you're drinking again. So what? So what? I'm going to have a little to take the edge off. But it never took that edge off anymore. But I knew it was about to. That was the delusion that kept maybe it's an illusion, that kept getting me drunk again, was I would get sober. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to not. My sponsor back in the day said, alcoholism is an illness that demands treatment. You are going to do something. You can say you're not going to do it. Trust me, you're going to do it. No, I won't. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. And I found out that to be true. It demands treatment. I don't get a choice in the matter. You are going to do, treat me, Craig, treat me. Give me something. I got to have something. You got to have something. What is it? What is it? I don't know what it is, but you got to have something. I wonder how do you feel? I don't know how I feel. What do you mean? Why'd you ask me how I feel? What, do you see something I don't see? What the hell's the matter with you? And I'm just a nervous wreck. Right? And so that doesn't happen to my brothers. And it's irritating. They're just kind of smooth all the time. It makes me want to kick them once in a while. Anyway, but AA doesn't look. I'm not, and it doesn't. Well, you gotta treat this spiritual malady. What? I don't have that. But you got to treat the spiritual malady. I hate the people in AA. I keep running into these people that are fanatics. I just want to do regular AA. I'm going to go to a few meetings until I glow in the dark, and that's enough. I didn't know that what you guys were doing with these steps and these commitments and showing up and inconveniencing yourself and coming around and talking to new people. I don't want to I'm a new person. Talk to me, damn it. What could I give that new guy? Well, herpes or something, probably, Craig, but just, whatever. Cooties for sure. But try to cheer him up. Why? I want to find somebody doing worse than me, so I'm cheered up a little bit. And, oh, God, it just didn't make sense. So I'm not treating this illness. And it's an illness, I've found this out, that demands treatment. You were going to treat it. I think I'm just going to not drink no matter what, and everything's going to be good. Now, I have some friends that say they just don't drink no matter what. And I've kind of just given up and thought, you know what, I'm going to let them just have that. Because what they don't want to do is tell everybody everything they're doing. They do a lot of stuff. I know what they do because I've seen what their no matter what looks like. And so I leave it alone. So if that's what you do, that's great. But I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything. I don't need to. I'm just going to not drink and it'll all be good. That's what everybody told me. If you didn't drink, Craig, you'd be okay. And I don't drink and that ain't okay. That's why I drink, Mom, because of what happens to me when I don't. That's why. AA don't look like medicine. Stick your nose in that back door, you're brand new, you're homeless, or you're beat up, or you're in some rehab somewhere, or, detention, whatever it is, but somebody's on your case about it, or you wouldn't be here. We don't just think one day, I think I'll go check out AA just for the hell of it, No, that ain't the way it went for me. I mean, I did anything but AA. I'm not going to go to AA. It's funny, they talk about, we'll get people in front of a judge and the judge will say to them, Tommy, let me tell you something, kid. You can go to jail for a year or you can go to one AA meeting. Tommy might say, being like me, which jail? Because the thing is, jail, okay, I'll take the jail. My God, you got to go to jail for a year or one AA meeting. Yeah, but the people in the bar know the truth. People who go to jail eventually come back. People go to AA, you never see them again. They just poof. It's like an alien abduction or something. And then the next time you see them, they're driving a new car and they got their little family with them and some damn book under their arm, and they're just got that pasty, smug, stupid look on their face. It's called happiness. I'm very unfamiliar. That was not a familiar look to me. It was a familiar look. It just wasn't ever on my face. And, you're peeking in the door, and AA just don't look like medicine. They really don't. I'll do everything. I'll do anything except AA. I'll go to the fidget farm. I'll go to the nut ward. I'll go to jail. I'll go to treatment. I'll go to more treatment. I'll go to therapy. I always said I'd go to the gym, but I never did. I did join the gym. I had 2 memberships at one time. I never went, but I had 2 memberships. I thought that was enough. I was pissed off at the gym as it didn't work. Really? Did you ever go? Don't be stupid. I joined. That's enough. I'm a good interview guy, but I'm bad at showing up. So anyway, all that kind of little foolishness that we've been talking about here, those are real things in me. Maybe not as crazy as they get talked about up here, but, well, actually they are that crazy. You know what? I think I will tell that little story because we're about done. What do we got? About 8 or 9 minutes left, Mike? Something like that? All right. So I am married and I live in this house up in Summerlin. I'm sober a while. I'm married to this gal. We haven't been married very long, but we start going to marriage counseling. That's not a good sign. And, it is after 20 years, but after 15 minutes, my Lord, we hadn't really been married very long, and we start this. I have a bad way of I say things that get me in trouble, and I don't mean to, because I say things that I think are funny. And, well, they're funny to me. They weren't funny to her. She said to me, she was going to counseling. I said, well, you want to go to counseling? You want to go to counseling? It's fine. And she would come home and she would tell me all about counseling during the football game or something. And I'm like, can we just turn the sound down? And no, turn it off. And I got to tell you something. And she'd come in and she'd go, Craig, when I started going to counseling, we were like this. But now that I've been going to counseling, she would do this. Now that I've been going to counseling, we're like this. And I said, who's that up there, you or me? She got mad. Oh, so I end up in counseling, and if I'd have just kept my mouth shut. So I end up in this counseling, and we're going to this marriage counseling, and this guy is a real cool dude. I really liked him. I really liked him. We ended up, for years we're in this, and every Thursday night we'd go see Craig Wetzel, and Craig was such a good guy, and that was like my little carrot. Thursday night, man, Thursday night. We're going to go Thursday night. I'm going to get the answer Thursday night. Thursday night, it's going to be okay. Right now it sucks, but Thursday night, it's really going to be good. And I'm working a lot and doing all that stuff, and just things ain't going well. It's not going well at all. And I'm in a relationship with a woman I should have never been with. I knew that. In fact, on our wedding day, I'm standing at the little church of the West, and there's 200 or 300 people there. My little brother standing next to me is my best man, my mom and dad, my kids, everybody's there, her family. And I'm thinking, boy, I need to get in the truck and get the hell out of here now. But I was stuck. It would be I guess I got to go through. It was just, and so it was like that. And it wasn't her. It was not her. Anyway, so we've been going to counseling for a while, and every Thursday night, and it's just, then he starts seeing me one-on-one, and we're going along, and then he starts talking to me, and listen, this is not Craig having an opinion or anything about medication. No. You know what my opinion is of medication? If that's what your doctor told you to do that, follow the damn directions. That's what I say. Don't listen to some crackpot in AA. I even had a doctor, a friend of mine, tell me in AA, she said, you know, Craig, I prescribe this stuff. But for me to prescribe to Keith, he's not my patient, is called malpractice and I can be sued. So I sure as hell don't want you prescribing to people. Anyway, we had a long talk about that. And anyway, you know, he starts talking to me about, you know, this medication and stuff. And I start, you know, kind of getting my hopes up. And, you know, because he'd asked me all the questions. He knew about AA. He knew I was in AA. Do you have a sponsor? Yes. Do you talk to him every day? I don't talk to him about anything in AA. We just talk about how far I can hit the golf ball and stuff like that. And some of you guys knew the wino, and he was just wonderful, man. And you done inventory, and you know, that means yes. And, you know, I all that, just, yes, of course, several, love inventory, you know, and, oh, God, and just, this guy has gone to questions with me, really interviewing me to see this guy, okay, I got a live one here. This guy's really doing AA, and he's a mess. So I can help him. So he's going to prescribe me. Well, one thing leads to another, and then he starts seeing me and Karen again a couple of weeks, and then one night we get in the office, and he's weird. I don't know what's going on. He's fidgety, and he's fussing around, and he's I don't know, he's just, you know, this, you know what I mean, at his desk, and she's in her corner and I'm in mine, and, you know, we're ready to go, let the bell ring or whatever, and, oh, God. He looks up and he's got tears running down his face. And I think, that ain't a good sign here tonight. That doesn't look good. And he started talking, he said, you know, you guys have become more than clients. You've become really close friends. And I started thinking, oh my God, him and Karen are having a fling. I did. That's what I thought. He said, particularly I've gotten close to Craig. And I thought, well, I don't go that direction, but what the hell? I guess if this thing don't work out, you know. And he goes on, he said, I'm not going to be able to see you guys for 4 months. I don't know what to say. What am I going to do? Every Thursday is my hope. That's my only hope. Thursday, if I can get to Thursday. Remember when you knew if you could get to Friday, you could drink? Oh, it was magic. He said, you want to know why? I mean, sure. Yeah, it'd be nice to know why you're abandoning us for 4 months. He said, I'm going to check into Betty Ford to get off the medicine I was going to prescribe to him. He's looking at Karen. And I had two thoughts, I really did. The first one I thought, oh, damn it, just when I'm getting ready to get help, some weakling ruins it. But the other thought was, I think I dodged a bullet. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, I don't know. But what happened to me is I ended up in AA like I hadn't been in AA yet. And things really turned around and really changed. But if I'd have drank like I do AA, I couldn't be alcoholic because I do just enough to where I feel better and then I quit. That ain't the way I drank, even when drinking wasn't working. And then, 4 or 5 years later, there's another disaster. Some of these kids survived my last one of about 4 or 5 years ago. And we're all still friends and things are nice. Because everybody just stayed their course. We're flawed human beings. We do a lot of stupid things. We do things that are driven by self-centeredness. We're driven by fear to do crazy things. Mark and I worked together for a long time, and we used to talk about it all the time because we got involved with stuff at work that there were just people that they needed me to run over them with the forklift. They really did. It would have been for their benefit, but we didn't. I'd go talk to him like, hell, Craig, it isn't that big a deal. And then 2 days later, he's telling me about something that's a big deal. And I'm like, well, it wasn't a big deal when I was going through it. He said, no, because that was no big deal. But listen to this, Craig, this is really a big deal, And I get that. And we talk each other through these things. That's what you guys do that's magic. That's what we want to do with you folks that are early in sobriety. We don't want to talk you into doing stuff that you won't like. What we want to do is, yeah, it says in our book that practical experience shows that nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as intensive work with alcoholics. This is our 12th suggestion. It works when all other activities, chasing girls and money and cars and nonsense, I mean, it doesn't seem like nonsense, but all I ever had to do was surrender. And it's the one thing I could just never do until I was destroyed a few years ago. By me. Nobody did it to me. I did it to myself. My buddy Norm says, you know what, man, if you want to see me just screw my life up, you don't need to do anything to me. Just sit me over there in that chair and leave me alone for a little while. And I really identify with that. I never planned one disaster. I never planned one of them. I had a few, but none were planned. They all started out the same way. Oh man, this is going to be great. I look back on every one of them. I don't have an exception to that. This is going to be great. 2 or 3 days later when you're being arraigned, hey, what happened to great, big shot? Man, it was that damn Pontiac. I shouldn't have drove that. I should have took the Chevy, or whatever. I got some trivial, stupid excuse. The gas station didn't have vodka. That's why I rammed my car through the front door. Well, by God, lady, you're free to go. Go ahead. Get out of here. I'm going to go ram my car. I'm the judge, and I'm going to go run that gas station. Damn those people. You think weird like I do. No offense. And I didn't know that. And what I heard, and then we'll shut it down. Sunday was 90 years to the day that Bill Wilson and Bob Smith met for the first time at the Cyberling Gatehouse. It was not a good day for Bob Smith. It was terrible. It was Mother's Day. He was drunk again, and his old lady was on his case. And his 2 kids were there, Smitty, Bob Smith Jr., and Sue. And I talked to Bob Smith Jr. probably 25 or 6 years ago now up in Washington and asked him a question. Bill Wilson wasn't having a very good weekend either. He was coming out to Akron to make this rubber machine, and he was going to make millions of that day. And it ended up being a hostile takeover. He lost everything, and he just split back home, but he didn't have enough money for the train back to New York. So he's totally stuck in Akron. I'm not looking to pay my hotel bill. I don't have enough to get out of town no matter what I do. So he's floundering around. He goes down there, and he's looking at the church directory at that end of the lobby and the attractive bar. Have you ever seen an unattractive bar? No. Even ones you look at, and, oh, my God, I'll never, and the next thing you know, it's your place. And so anyway, he sees that, and he makes all these phone calls and ends up getting an appointment to go see this crackpot he doesn't know, and he ends up in this gatehouse, and Bob Smith gets over there at 5:30, Mother's Day of 1935, and says, Mother's Day of 35 at 5:30 in the evening, and he says, we're going to get there at 5:30. We're leaving at 5:45. I don't feel good. Got stuff to do tomorrow. I'll talk to this guy for a few minutes because Bob's been counseled for 17 years. Now, he drank longer than that, but for 17 years, he's been a very serious problem, bad, drunken, pain in the rear drinker. It's causing him a lot of grief, and he's had a lot of good people trying to help him, a lot of loving people trying to help him, a lot of good church people trying, family people, his wife, his kids, his neighbors, his friends, his associates. Everybody trying to help him, and he just can't connect. So he meets some loser from New York, a loser, a clown, in this gatehouse. And they're in that room, and he's, what the hell's this guy going to do that all the people that know me and love me haven't been able to do? The Oxford group couldn't help me. And he goes into this room with this guy, and I asked Smitty, I said, look, man, your dad told you 15 minutes. Why did you let him high and dry in there for 5 or 6 hours like that? And Smitty said this. He said, well, I'll tell you, Craig. He said, we could hear Dad and Mr. Wilson in that room. We couldn't hear what they were saying, just their muffled voices. But every now and then we'd hear my dad laugh. We hadn't heard my dad laugh in a hell of a long time. In a long time. When Bob came out of that room, he's looking at Sue and Smitty and Henrietta and Ann and the kids that are there, and he's pointing at Bill Wilson. He's looking at him and he said, you see that guy right there? I've never met anybody like him in my life, ever. He knows all about the drinking game. He knows all about the drinking game. I have a book at home of the 80 greatest events of the 20th century, the last century. And that meeting, that night, is in that book. That night, the world changed. That night, without that night, her car is still stuck in that gas station, and I'm dead. And I know a lot of other folks in here are gone. We're just not, this room is empty. You've seen that movies when the future gets messed with or whatever, or the past, and then everybody just fades out. We're sitting in a room full of dead people. That's just the way it is. That meeting, that night, Bob didn't stay sober, but shortly thereafter, a month or so later. But that's when that magic happened, and here's the magic. That's the first guy that Bob had a connect, more than identification. He identified with people in the Oxford group. He identified with some of the other doctors, but he had a connection with Bill, because Bill talked to him about the pathetic, disgusting drinking. Oh my God, I went in and I ordered 4 shots. I have no idea why I did that. And afterwards, I'm asking myself, why in the hell did I do that? How did this happen again? Like it's a mystery. That's what I connect with you. I know what it's like to sit at the, why in the hell isn't there vodka here? I know what it's like when your car just pulls into where it shouldn't pull into. It's not my fault. The damn car just pulled in there. I don't know what to tell you. I know what that's like. Anyway, I'm really glad that you guys, that wasn't much of an AA talk, was it? I mean, you ain't gonna, I've never told my story. I've told 1,700 other stories, but never told my story. I don't even know what the hell it is anymore. I've been sober so long. But we can put in a new reel and we can start over and do it again. We give it another shot, Mike, tonight. I mean, it ain't a big deal. I mean, these guys ain't got nowhere to go. Apparently, a Wednesday night and they all show up here. What a bunch of dumbasses. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm really glad to be here. Thanks for the invite. Kristen, thank you for the effort you put into coming out here. They should have recorded you.